broadcast and start streaming, and then select that. Okay, it says we've gone live. Down here you can see the minutes clicking along. You can see our CPU usage down here, and you can also see the data we're using up over in the right hand corner there. It'll also tell us if we've dropped any frames and if we've got any issues down there as well. So let's go over to our YouTube studio to see how we're going over there. And you can see I'm live. Over here we've got our chat, so we can chat to our people out there. Hello everyone out there. Hit that, which is cool. That's really cool. Looks like we've got an excellent connection and that's all working really well. Let's go back to our OBS. Another thing we can do is go to our studio mode, which we spoke about earlier. So this is where, you know, the live stream experts and pros would normally traditionally go in their software. Over in my preview area on the left over here, we can put our presentation and get that queued up, ready to go.
Hello.
And then when we want that to go live, we simply go transition, and that will come on like so. And let's say that we want to put our video on next. Again, we hit video and it's queued up over here on our preview screen. And then when we hit transition, when we're ready to go, we hit that, it's moved on in, and the video is playing.
Hello,
and
guys.
At any time, of course, if you want to head back to that main camera,
hello.
select over here.
Is anyone there? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you've joined and if you can hear me.
Just by going down to the bottom.
It's my first live stream. Yay! Hello. Is anyone there? Alright. There's a bit of a delay, so when I talk, it comes across a bit later on YouTube Studio, so I'll just stay with my OBS interface. I believe I can see the chat somewhere on this interface. Let's see, where can I find the chat? Dear God. Okay, so let's see the view, and there I can see multi-view, stats, let's say docs, chats, exactly. So I can see if anyone has joined and if anyone is chatting to me. So I'm happy to say that we are live. We are live. If you join in, please let me know where you have joined in from, and I'm just going to jump right into it. Yes. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. My name is Nkiru. The name of my channel used to be Nkiruka Live, but last week I just changed it to the Happiness Edit. I changed it to the Happiness Edit because I want to help people build happier lives. That is my goal. Right? That is my goal. I just want to help people build happier lives. So I want people to be happier. I want to help people build happier lives, and one of the ways I believe you can do that is your lifestyle. And that is by developing a lifestyle of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, a lifestyle of attitude, however you want to put it. Okay, so today I'm just going to be chatting with you. If you are one of my subscribers, thank you for joining. If you are not a subscriber, please subscribe below and join the family. Like I said, this is the Happiness Edit. We are helping people build happier lives and live happier lifestyles. That is my goal. Okay, just want to adjust this camera because I'm using my webcam so you can see me very well. Alrighty, so yeah, I know I'm streaming at 118 and I don't know if anybody is going to join, but I sure hope people do because I know most people are at work right now, especially in the part of the world where I live. Most people are working, and They might not be able to join, but I'm still going to go ahead and jump right in and hope that folks join when they get a chance, because I think I'm going to be live for about an hour. What are we talking about today? We are talking about relationships, okay? Like I said, my name is Nkiruka. I'm also called Esther, and a lot of people call me Kiki as well. And I am a trained geologist. I have my notes here, so I can't do without notes. I have to be looking to from time to time at my notes. Beg your pardon. I am a trained geologist. I also have worked for over 8 years, almost 10 years, in the oil and gas industry, in the energy industry as a proposals developer. Yes, but I'm also a writer and soon to be author. I'm working on my first book, which I hope to publish soon. And I'm also a businesswoman. I love business. I love trading. I love buying stuff and selling stuff, even if it's not in a shop. One way or the other, you're buying something or you're selling something, even if it's a service, all right? I love trading in business. I love trading. I love business. I love commerce. Yeah, commercial activities. Yeah. But today we will be talking about something other than all these things, all these aspects of my life that I have just listed out here. All right, because I also happen to be a lifestyle vlogger on YouTube. Yeah, I vlog about lifestyle on YouTube, specifically lifestyle as an immigrant living in another man's land. Yeah, yeah, because those kinds of experiences have a way of impacting your lifestyle. Yeah, so I share my experiences as an immigrant living in another man's land. Okay, yeah, so that's what I do on YouTube. I'm a lifestyle vlogger. Yeah, so but today I'm going to be talking about relationships because I believe that relationships have a huge impact on our lifestyle as people. If you agree, do we have anyone there? Okay, so if you agree that relationships have an impact on your lifestyle, please drop a comment. And if you have joined in, please share the live, share the live, share the live. If you've joined in, please let us know where you're joining from. If you can see me, please let me know. If you cannot hear me, please also let me know. All right, so let me know where you're joining from. Let me know um where you're joining from, and let me know if you can hear me or if you can see me, or otherwise if you cannot hear me or cannot see me, please let me know. So like I said, I'm a lifestyle blogger and I'm going to be talking about relationships today. I did not say I'm a relationship expert though. Yeah, I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not claiming to be a relationship expert, but I have been able to keep very good, very strong, very healthy relationships that have lasted spanned across decades of my life. And I have put up some videos on YouTube as a result of showcasing these relationships, because it's something that I'm really happy about. My relationships, right? I'm really happy about the relationships I have. Still have relationships that started from my secondary school GS1. I still have relationships with people that I went to primary school with. That was years ago. I don't want to tell you how many years ago, because then you will know my age. Yeah, so I don't want to tell you how many years ago, but I still have relationships with people whom I went to primary school with. And one of my dear friends, very dear friends, passed away during the Ebola outbreak, the Ebola virus outbreak, when the disease spread to Nigeria. One of my closest friends passed away in that outbreak. That was more than almost 10 years ago. Yeah, more than 10 years ago actually, because I was not married when it happened. And she was my friend from primary school, right? And if she was alive, we would still be like this today. I'm so sure of it, because she was the kindest, nicest, oh, sweetest human being, that lady. I don't forget her. So I do have relationships that have spanned years, and I'm not even talking about my siblings, and I'm not even talking about my my parents who I do happen to have good relationships with. So when I put out some of those videos about my relationships, people began to comment, and the comments were so interesting, and that was why I decided to film this, to start talking about it more. Not necessarily to film, but to start talking about it more. And I do plan to have even another video about it, because I recently saw a very popular YouTuber, Patricia Bright, do a video on the topic of friendship and how there is a friendship drought in the world today. And I'm like, wow, this thing is not a joke, because even on the video, she said she had put a post on TikTok about this, about how there's a friendship drought, especially amongst females. Anyway, sad to say. And the comments on the reactions that she got from that video amazed her, and which is why she decided to do a follow-up YouTube video about the topic. Okay, so when I heard that, I was like, wow, because my video about my friends and the time I spent with them and my hanging out with them over the summer and everything, because I hung out with a lot of my friends who I've known for more than 20 years. I kid you not, more than 20 years. I hung out with a lot of them during the summer, which is just passing away right now. So when I saw that video, I thought, wow, and the reaction to the videos I put up about my hangouts with my friends also showed me that a lot of people are going through the same thing, this friendship drought. And the people that commented on my videos were not just ladies, even men were commenting, oh, you're so lucky to have true friends. Oh, when you have true friends, blah blah blah, you're so lucky. It's hard to find people who can be trusted. It's hard to find sincere relationships. Sincere friendships are so hard to find. And I was like, wow, I know that I certainly definitely believe that friendship is overrated. I believe that friendship is overrated. That is my because I don't necessarily go out of my way to make friends. Yeah, I'm not really interested in making friends as I am now, and that has been my lifestyle for years, because I do believe that friendship is overrated. And yes, I do believe that it's so hard to find good friends, but I did not think it was that hard, that so many people are actually experiencing the same thing. And I just have to ask, why is it happening? Why are we having this? Why is this going on? Why is there such a difficulty in finding true friends? Why? It's worth talking about, and it's worth asking, and that is why I decided to talk more about this, because I realized that it's something that a lot of people desire and wish they had but don't have. True friendships, real friendships. And somebody will ask, why do you even need to have good friends? Why do you even need friendship? After all, your family is there, your siblings are there, your parents are there. Why do you even need to have good friends? Some people might ask that. We will come to that as we go along, but I'm just going to start by saying that, like I said, I'm not a relationship expert, but I have managed to have good, healthy relationships in my life, and I just want to share some insights with people out there that might help them to build lasting relationships. I actually also have a PDF which I put together about building lasting relationships, and I will link it to this video when it goes on my page, when it goes on YouTube, right? So yeah, I have done that, and I think one of the two things I have applied personally to my life to help you build lasting relationship will also help you if you want to build lasting relationships. So that's why we're having this, and I want to just ask a question. Why is it? Hello, welcome, thank you for joining. Please let us know where you're joining from. Please let us know where you're joining from. Thank you for joining. Now I do want to ask a question, however. Why is it that whenever we talk about relationships, the word relationship, whenever the word relationship comes up, what people think about is romantic relationship, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend? Why is this always the first thing that comes to our minds when we talk about relationships? Yes, I understand that these relationships are more or less the bedrock of human life, okay, of life. actually, because without these relationships there can really be no, there's no progeny, there's no life actually. Do you understand? Because these relationships birth life, they produce life, they reproduce more or less. Okay, so they are so important for even the existence of the human race. The relationship between the romantic relationship is so important even for the existence of the human race. Very important, that is given. So those relationships are in a class all by themselves. But we do agree that many times other relationships affect the success or failure of this should I use the word um primary relationship? Let me use the word primary relationship. The primary relationship in this case now being the romantic relationship. Every other relationship that exists around the primary relationship affects the primary relationship one way or the other. The primary relationship is vital because it affects every other relationship as well. So you understand, it can affect your relationship with your spouse, your colleagues. It can affect your work. It can affect every area of your life. Okay, it can make you even crazy. Yeah, or it can make you really bloom and blossom and glow and be, just amazing. But it can also be affected by other relationships that exist around it. So it's important to be able to manage relationships, all relationships I say, rather than just always focusing on the primary relationship that is responsible for the existence of human life, which is the romantic relationship. And I learned this from a former boss of mine, Mrs. Ifediora, who was my first employer, and she taught me this. She said relationships are the most important thing in life. Relationships are the most important thing in life. This is what my first boss taught me, and I learned to agree with her. And she would always say that your relationship with your colleagues, your relationship, you don't even know how far a relationship can take you. Okay, so when we even talk about this romantic relationship, sometimes the friend that you have might be the one to introduce you to your spouse. You understand? Your friends, sometimes I have a lot of friends who are married to their friends brothers, our friends brothers. You understand? I have a lot of friends like that. So the friend you have might be the one to introduce you to your spouse. Lots of relationships start as platonic, boyfriend girlfriend, and we're just there, and then all of a sudden we start to fall in love with each other. And I remember the typical story, the comedy Friends, that was a hit, I think in the 90s. It was a hit. I loved it. But you could see that in that they were all just friends, and somehow they just came together. Ross and Rachel were siblings, and then Rachel and Courtney Cox, I forget her I forget her name, the name of her character in the show, were best friends from secondary school. So Ross, Rachel, and Ross's sister, Ross and his sister, rather Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox was Ross's sister, I beg your pardon. Courtney Cox and that's her real name, not her character. Courtney Cox and Ross, that is the character Ross, were siblings, and then Courtney Cox and um Rachel, that is Jennifer Aniston, were best friends from secondary school. So three of them went to the same secondary school. So that was how the relationship. Then now Ross and Michael, who is now late, unfortunately, Michael was his character's name, became friends, I think, as a result of work or school or uni or something. And then they all became friends. The three of them became friends. And then this other guy, Michael, and the funniest guy, whose name I do not know why it escapes me now, were also friends, and he also brought them into the circle. And then Phoebe kind of like, became their friend. I don't know how Phoebe became their friend, but there were six of them who eventually became friends, three ladies and three guys. Now in that mix, the first two to get married were Michael and Courtney Cox's character. Both of them got married. They were all just friends to begin with. They were all just friends who used to sit down and talk about their boyfriends and their other romantic relationship. But now two people got married. Ross and Rachel dated, broke up, and by the end of the series, apparently they were going to come back together and still become man and wife, and I think they had a child together. Or am I mistaken? No, I think Ross had a child with someone else, but eventually they came back together. So you see that your friendship could start as platonic and then eventually graduate into romantic, and you don't even know how far it could go. I remember a lady I used to know in my church way back then who used to say to me, "Hey, bịa n'ọlụlụ nwanne m, bịa n'ọlụlụ nwanne m." You know how she just loved me. She wanted me to marry her brother. Do you get? Ah, I really, oh my God, it's been ages. I lost touch with that lady. I need to get back in touch with her. You know, come and marry my brother for me. That's me, no, bịa n'ọlụlụ nwanne m. Come and marry my brother for me. And I've seen cases where, I there's a relationship I am suspecting that the mama, as in the mother figure in that relationship, must have said to the daughter figure, please marry this man for me now. And I know that kind of they must have had a relationship at some point. I mean, the man and the woman, but she may have just said, just marry him for me, for several reasons which I don't want to go in at this time. I don't want to go into at this time, but it's still true that marriage and romantic relationships are not the only relationships that exist. We also need to pay attention to all the other relationships, because I'm saying this because we have a lot of attention given annually, monthly, daily to romantic relationships. We have given a lot of attention to romantic relationships. There are hundreds of books written about romantic relationships. There are millions of books, what am I saying, written, dedicated to romantic relationships. There are millions of seminars every year about romantic relationships, books, blogs, vlogs, and all kinds of things, trainings, and what have you, dedicated to romantic relationships, and with good reason. With good reason. Those relationships are vital to human existence, like I have said before. If you agree, please drop a comment below. If you don't agree, please still drop a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. But yes, those relationships are vital to human existence, therefore they deserve the attention that they have gotten. But I still maintain that every relationship is linked one way or the other, and therefore we have to give attention to all of them. So I'm not going to be focusing a lot on romantic relationships. I'm going to be focusing more on friendships. Okay, I'm going to be focusing more on friendship because I believe, like I said, that there is a friendship drought. And why I am not so crazy about making friends, because I have a lot of good friends. At this point in time in my life, I have a lot of good friends, but I will tell you something, right? I am comfortable with the friends I have because I've known them for years, one. And two is the second thing I will tell you, which is a tip I will give you at the end. All right, I'm not going to tell you that now. Okay, so but however, I'm not necessarily looking to make new friends. I am not. And that is because of this same friendship drought that we're talking about, because you really can't trust people. You don't really know who has your best interests at heart. A lot of people become friends with us because of what they feel they can get from us. And yes, that is not entirely wrong. That is not entirely wrong, because as human beings, why do we have relationships? We have relationships so that we can have support. Yes, you need a support. Yesterday I went to make my hair. I couldn't finish at 3:30, which is time for school run, but I had peace because that day my friend, whose son is in the same class with my son, was home. She didn't go to work, and so I could call her and say, babe, please help me collect my son, let him stay in your house until I finish making my hair. I will come and take him. I just had about 30 minutes to go, but I needed that. I needed that support. You understand? And then when she's in a bind as well, she calls me and says, babe, help me collect my son, I beg. If she needs me to take him home with me, I will take him home with me. If not, I drop him at his house. That relationship, I tell you, I went out of my way to develop that relationship. I went out of my way to build that relationship. Until today, I am still investing in that relationship because I know that I need the support. We all need the support. So there's nothing wrong with looking out for relationships that can be your support when you need the support. Yes, there is nothing wrong with that. You don't just make friends for, okay, let's have somebody to go to the club with, let's have somebody to go drinking with. It is also important to have somebody you trust to go to the club with, to go drinking with. That is wise. There's nothing wrong with that. For those people who say, oh, they go to church because they want to find husband, that is wise. It's not stupid. I can't be a Christian and you expect me to go to the nightclub to find a husband. What kind of husband do you want me to find there? Okay, so I go to where I can meet the kind of people I want to interact with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you deciding that you want to build a relationship because of the benefit that you hope to gain from that relationship. But the only challenge arises when you are nothing but a parasite. A parasite is an organism that will just be taking and taking from the host without even giving anything back. So we are going to talk more about this as we go along. But let me just consult my notes and be sure that I am not missing anything. All right. While I'm doing that, please can you just drop comments below and let me know where you are joining from. Hello, hello. Yes. Oh yeah, I see you, Chioma. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chioma. Thank you for joining. All right. So, okay. Aha, I see you. I see you. Thank you for joining. Hello, Joe. Hello, Joe. Where are you joining from? Okay, not at work today. Not at work today. Oh, I see. Oh, that's great. Thank you for joining. I'm not expecting so many people to join today. This is my first live stream. I wanted to just like have a dry run and experience what it is like to go live on YouTube. I'm still pretty much learning the ropes, the OBS software, and everything. So it's giving me a bit of a challenge, but that's all right. Yeah. So I want to start with professional relationships. Okay, I want to start with professional relationships because, like I said, there are so many different kinds of relationships. The relationship industry, if there is any such thing, is so vast. Okay, it's so wide. There's so much to talk about in it. So I'm not going to dwell on romantic relationships. If ever I come across and have to talk about those, that's fine. But I'm going to be focusing on all other relationships aside from the romantic relationship because I do believe that they also have an impact on the romantic relationship. So I'm going to be talking about professional relationships today. Like I said, I want to be live for 1 hour, so I'm checking my time as well. And I will start by saying this: as far as romantic relationships go, there are some sayings that I want to highlight, which are related to romantic relationships. Say related to romantic relationships. Relationships are so important. But first and foremost, your colleague is not your friend. Yes, if you have experienced anything that drives this point home, please drop a comment below. Your colleague is not your friend. No. Your colleague is not your friend. Let me say it again because I had to say this to my husband at some point when he was talking about his colleagues, and I said, your colleague is not your friend. Period. Yeah. Your boss is not your friend. There's another saying that I want to highlight at this point, and that saying goes thus: that you can convert it's better to convert your friends, your business partners, to your friends rather than your friends to your business partners. It's easier to convert your business partners to your friends rather than converting your friends to your business partners. What do you think? Please drop a comment below and let's see what you think about this, if you haven't had any experiences about this, right? I'm also going to talk to us about, and I'm going to come live more than once to discuss this topic because, like I said, I'm a lifestyle vlogger, and these are things that affect our lifestyles, whether we like it or not. But like I said, your colleague is not. We're talking about professional relationships today, and we're trying to define them and draw the line, drawing a line between your professional relationships and your other relationships, your social relationships. Definitely, you can have social relations with people who you are professionally involved with. Yeah, a colleague, a business partner, a client, a prospective client. If you are in sales or marketing or business development, you must have relationships with people who have not even become clients, whom you are still prospecting to patronize your business, right? So you have relationship with those people, and therefore there must be a social aspect to that relationship. Oh, my daughter is graduating, I'm inviting you. Oh, I just finished building my house, I'm inviting you for the housewarming. Oh, I bought a new property and I'm moving in, and I'm going to have a housewarming. I'm inviting you. I'm getting married, and this is my Ashwebi. I'm inviting you. My husband comes home late sometimes, and he says, "Oh, there's a member of his team who was a particular team in his office invited the whole office. Like, right, in an office, you could have the sales team, you could have the health and environment team. You could have probably the engineering team, if that's such a company. You can have the admin team, you can have the accounting team. So this team, assuming now the accounting team, they are having their particular event, or whatever event they have as a company, and then they invite the rest of the company for the event. And then he said he has to go because of relationship, because you never know, you might be asking someone for something tomorrow, and the person is just being, you know difficult, and it's just because they invited you for an event and you didn't go. And people can be that way. Yes, exactly, Rachel. People can be that way. People can be that way. Yeah. So you just have to be careful when you are in a professional environment. There is a social aspect to the relationships you have with people whom you have professional relationships with, but that does not make you their friend. And that is why sometimes there is an office party, a Christmas party, an office Christmas party, and somebody is accused of sexual misconduct. Yeah, because you probably thought that you and this person had achieved a kind of, you know, um, rapport that allowed you to take certain liberties with them, only for them to go and say no. This was not appropriate. He approached me appropriately. He used inappropriate language, and we've had lots of times when this has made the news, even for top executives in various industries. And I'm not even going to stop at the entertainment industry, where it is rife, and in recent times has become so rampant because of the influence of social media and the power that social media has given to people, where it is now okay for you to speak up about such experiences, because there have been these things happening in behind the curtains, and people don't want to come out and talk about it because they are afraid of being victimized, they are afraid of being targeted. You understand? So now there's a lot more freedom, a lot more power being given to people. I'm not even going to stick with women, because these things happen to both genders. So now people are have more liberty to talk about it, and it appears to be more rampant today, but it's not. It's just that the knowledge has become has become common to everyone, that you can actually talk about it. Okay. And so that is why we have a case of a Christmas party, and somebody goes there and drinks and gets drunk and behaves inappropriately and disgraces themselves. And guess what? People are, awkward to you the day after and weeks after, and your reputation in the office, and in fact, you just find that you probably are not growing in that office, in that organization. You just find that you're being passed over for promotions. You just find that, okay, you're not being chosen when there is an opportunity for maybe a training or something, or to lead, because you have shown yourself, literally, as we say in Nigeria. But you were at a point thinking that, okay, this is a social event and I am with my friends. No, you're not. Even if you go for a colleague's wedding, yeah, even if you go for a colleague's wedding, bachelor party, bachelor party, you still have to compose yourself, because professional relationships can be friendships, but they are very, very, very tight in their boundaries. You have to be very careful with professional relationships. Anyone who has experienced this, please feel free to drop a comment below. Your colleague is not your friend. You can go out with your friends and get drunk. I don't drink, so I'm not encouraging you to drink, but there are people who, you go out with your friends to the club, you get drunk, you jump into, have a one night stand. All those things happen when you're amongst friends, and your friends will cover you up. In quotes, you expect that your friends will cover you up. You expect that your friends will understand because they are your friends. But your colleague may not. And guess what? You and I sit next to each other at work today. Tomorrow you might be promoted to become a manager, and I am still sitting at that desk where we were sitting next to each other. And I now know you better than anybody else in the company knows you, and you are now a manager. Or you now know me better than everybody else in the company knows, and you are now a manager. Your colleague is not your friend. Take that to the bank. So, in terms of professional relationships, one thing we must do is practice being these 3 F's. There are 3 F's I learned from one of my professors in school when I was doing my master's. 3 F's that you must practice in professional relationships, in professional circles, and professional circles and environments. You must be firm, you must be friendly, and you must be fair. Fair means equitable. Alright? Being fair, being friendly, and being firm. These 3 F's will help you to survive in professional environments. And I'm not saying this is all there is to it. There's so much that we can unpack. And like I said, relationship topic is very vast, and that is why we will still keep coming back and coming back and coming back to it. I haven't even grazed the surface of what I wanted to talk about today, but firm, friendly, fair are the 3 F's I learned you should practice when you are in a professional environment. Now, being firm means that you follow the procedures, you follow the policies, you know them, and you practice them. Now, let me give a typical example. YouTube is a social media site, right? However, YouTube has guidelines. YouTube has policies, right? People are on YouTube being professional and making a lot of money. People are on YouTube playing, in quotes, apparently. What's it called? Prank. Let's do a prank video on my daughter. Do a prank video on my wife. Even in that, you still have to follow the policies. You still have to follow the procedures. YouTube is a professional platform. In as much as people are on here playing, they are not playing just because they want to play. It's not for fun. It sounds as if it's for fun, but it's not for fun. So you have to be firm in your YouTube business, in your YouTube interactions. If you're in the comment section of somebody's live stream, you respect the guidelines. You respect the guidelines. So you have to be firm in following the guidelines. And if you, as a creator, are not following the guidelines, you can't be slammed with a violation. You can have your accounts taken down. You can have all your time and effort that you have put into a project eliminated by one decision that YouTube will take because you did not follow the community guidelines. And these guidelines exist to protect every member of this community. So we have to be firm. If this is not allowed by the guidelines of YouTube, no matter how friendly you are with people on your live stream, no matter how friendly you are with your subscribers, with your community, you have to tell them that this is not allowed according to YouTube policy, and it applies to every aspect of our professional lives. In the workplace, you have to be firm. Even if somebody is friendly with you, you tell them this is wrong and we will not do it. I will not participate in this. I will not be a part of this, because tomorrow when the chief chips are down, that person could sell you out. And now being friendly does not mean being friends. I work as a carer. I have a video on my channel about the kind of work I do. And one of the trainings that you are given as a carer is that you should be friendly with the service user, but you are not allowed to be their friends. And this is so important because you have sometimes where a service user will say, oh, I want this person, oh, I want that carer, oh, I want this carer. And if that particular carer doesn't come, or if those particular carers that they are comfortable with don't come, they throw tantrums, they get upset, and they might cost the company business. But then it is our responsibility as carers to be firm and let them know that in as much as I love you and I want to be here to do everything for you, to make sure that you are well taken care of. I love you and I want to be here to take care of you. I cannot be here for you 365 days a year. You cannot be available to anybody that much. Okay, I still have my family to take care of. I still have my children to go home to. And that is why the company has put in this law that we should not be friends. We should not have any service user depend on us so much that they will refuse to be cared for by another carer. You have to make them understand that the carers are all trained to provide their needs, to meet their needs, and they shouldn't worry. Even if I'm not there, my colleague will be here and she will do the very best for you, just the same way I would. And company makes that a law. There is no carer who is allowed to develop that kind of relationship with a service user that will allow them to have your phone number and call you when they need something. It's not allowed because it puts pressure on you, even the carer. When you need to be home with your family, when you need to have time off with your family, you are looking for how to meet up with the service users. No, you won't be able to cope. So some of these laws are for our own benefit, and that is an typical example of being friendly without being friends. You can be friendly, and the English have this down to an art. I must tell you, having lived in England, this is why I share my lifestyle in England, because I learn a lot from people I live amongst, and that is why I focus my channel on this topic. Living amongst the English, this is one thing I can say about them. They are very friendly people, especially the older generation, but even the younger ones do try. They can smile at you so much, they can be kind and warm to you, but when it gets to where they have to put up the walls, they put it up. They go up so fast before you can say Jack Robinson, the walls are up. And the next thing will tell you, I'm very sorry, I know that I'm supposed to do so and so. I know you want me to help you with so and so. I know it can be very inconveniencing to do so and so. But however, this is the law and this is how we have to approach this issue. This is what we are going to do about it. This is what I can do for you. And beyond this, I cannot help you. I'm sorry. And they will be so polite and so nice and so friendly when they give you this feedback. I have learned that from the English. You're walking on the street, they greet you with a smile, they say hi. Sometimes they see you on the bus, they can chat with you. They can go into long conversations with you, but that does not mean that at the end of the conversation they have the liberty to say to you, please, can I have your number? For what? All right, so you must be friendly but not friends necessarily with your colleagues. A time might come when your colleague can say, oh, come and know my house. And you go and know their house. But that does not mean you should go there and undress in front of them or something like that. Okay, so let's go on. We must be fair. In our dealings in the professional environment, it is helpful for us to be fair. When you know the right thing, you do it. You don't do differently for one person. That you don't what word is it, preferential treatment? Exactly. You do not practice preferential treatment. You don't treat people differently. Inclusion, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yes, those are the three key words now in all the organizations. Inclusiveness, you have to include everybody. You don't just say, okay, because this person is my friend, I'm going to do this project with just them, I'm just going to be sending email to only them. Your work will suffer and their work will suffer and the company's work will suffer and your job will be at risk. Now, let me tell you the truth. These things happen in almost every organization. In an organization where I currently work, I wouldn't even want to go into details, but these things happen. We have people who show preferential treatment to other people, based on either their being from the same ethnicity or race or one reason or the other. And it's so dicey a situation to find yourself in. To be honest, it's a very dicey situation to find yourself in. But I just want to let you know that if you are in an organization, because this is the beginning of toxicity in a professional environment. If you work in an organization and you are managing people, I would advise you to try as much as possible to eliminate these characteristics from your workplace. Try as much as possible to eliminate preferential treatments. Be fair to people. The rules are the rules. It doesn't matter where a person is from, it doesn't matter what religion they practice. Companies should be able to treat their employees equitably. The least you can do is to apply the same principle to everybody. Okay, it's a holiday. If it's a holiday for the Christians, let them observe it. If it's a holiday for the Muslims, let them observe it. Don't say because it's a holiday for these Christians and you are a Christian, therefore you company will promote that holiday. But when it is a holiday for the other religions, we don't promote it, we don't recognize it, and we don't give them the liberties that they deserve. They ask for time off, they don't get it because they don't practice the same religion as you. And that is what is happening, for instance, in America right now, where the government is being blamed and is being called out for preferential treatment with regards to the passing of Charlie Kirk, not everybody is happy about his methods of dealing with people to begin with, and then now he's passed on and the government is giving him so much, appreciation and so much honor. And yes, he was assassinated, which is really really sad and really really despicable at this time in this century that such a thing could happen, and which lets us know that if we are Christians and we have opinions about certain things, you could be upsetting a lot of people and your life could be at risk any day, anytime. Anyone could pass. However, that does not excuse the way his life was taken. And then the government is now being accused of treating his passing and everything related to his burial and everything with so much state honor and regard, where some other citizens of the same country did not get the same treatment, the same honor when such similar occasions occurred. For me, I do not know about a similarity that has occurred in recent times to the passing of Charlie Kirk, because it really is saddening and disheartening that that guy was simply killed for his beliefs and for airing his beliefs. And well, that is the sad truth about the world we live in. But it still remains that when preferential treatment is accorded to one person over the other, it breeds a lot of discontent and possibly could lead to a very toxic environment, because when people are not happy, there's a tendency for relationships to disintegrate. And whether we like it or not, we may not be friends in the workplace, colleagues may not be friends, but there are relationships that exist between colleagues. The professional relationship is one that is very important, because in our adult lives we find that we spend a lot more time at our workplaces, sometimes even more than we do with our family and so-called real friends. Okay, so if you're working a 40-hour week, when you're home, the time you spend with your family is limited, so you end up spending more time in the workplace, which is the reason why it has to be a place where you have peace. And when this place is not conducive for people to work happily and peacefully, it affects their mental health, it affects even their physical health, and might also end up affecting the relationships at home, including the primary relationship, which I mentioned earlier is the romantic relationship. So it's very important that we manage these relationships wisely. Professional relationships have a great impact on our lives, all right? So it's very important that we manage them carefully. So if you are in a position of leadership in your organization, try to be fair, try to treat everyone the same, and try not to accord preferential treatment to anyone. And if you are being if you have you feel that some people are being preferred against you, yes, you might have to take it up with your HR. You might have to, find, you know creative ways to handle that challenge. All right, but whatever your right is that is due you, regardless of who is holding on to it, I will advise that you insist on your rights and insist on being given your due. That's it. So we've done almost 1 hour, and just a quick recap. Today we've talked about relationships. We have established that romantic relationships are not the only relationships that exist in this world. All relationships have an impact on us as individuals and be um, should be studied, should be discussed. All right. So every relationship should be managed with care. All right, should be handled with care, and they all are linked to each other. The professional relationship, the romantic relationship, and other relationships, they are all linked together. They all work hand in hand to enable to build a well balanced human who has every aspect of his life together: the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional and psychological. All these things work together. The relationships that we have in our lives have an impact on all these aspects, and they should be managed carefully so that this individual will be the best, to get the best lifestyle for this individual. And that's it for today's topic, which is on relationships. And we do hope to have more live streams talking about relationships with more people on. And if you feel that this is something that you would like to contribute to the conversation, feel free to drop comments below. Let me know what you think. And just another quick recap is we also mentioned that your colleagues, your bosses, your professional relationships are not your friends. They are not your friends. Okay, you can be friendly with them, but they are not your friends. All right, so I'm going to be signing out any minute, but I just want to read some of the comments I have from the chat. Okay, yeah, Linda, thank you for joining. Linda says, "Oh, I see, Linda. Okay, this is really true." She's talking about the cases of sexual harassment that come out of workplace events, and it's really sad. Oh, cup of coffee. I need a drink. It's really sad, the number of cases of sexual harassment that come out of the workplace, and some of them, many of them, from social events at the workplace. And anyone who is wise will learn from these experiences, right? Thank you. Yeah. All right. All right. So, like I said, that your colleague is not your friend, and I have someone here commenting. Jude says, yes, your colleague is not your friend, and also your children are not your friends. I actually have a note on that, but I'm not really going to go into that in this topic. Like I said, the topic of relationships is really vast. Okay, it's really vast, but one thing I will say is that when we're talking about friend and colleague and friend, why do we use the word friend? Because this is a destination that all relationships hope to arrive at. Yes, everybody is out there looking for a friend. Somebody sang, sometimes in our lives we all have fears, we all have sorrows, but if you are wise, we all can. There is always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, It won't be long, you're gonna need somebody to lean on. You can call on a brother. If you need a friend, we all need somebody to lean on. So you see the word friend coming up a lot because that is a destination that most relationships hope to arrive at. Many times, when you are even with your spouse, you are hoping that you and your spouse can be friends. If I'm telling the truth, please drop a comment. You are hoping that you and your spouse can be friends. So many people are not friends with their spouses, even. Yes, but they are living together, they are having children together, they sleep together in the same bed and do all kinds of things on the bed, but they are not friends. It's true. Very true. So a friendship is a desired goal. It's a desired goal. It's something that we all desire to have in our lives. I mean, even God said that Moses was his friend. So you can imagine that. Even God has friends. Am I right? Am I absolutely right? Bible says Enoch walked with God. And then he was not, for God took him. Yay! There was a rapport that was more than just a rapport. They were so close, the guy did not die. Recently, I had to go through this topic with my son on Bible study, which I do not know why I was teaching him this, but I still taught him anyway because. We were reading the Bible together and we just came, oh, this one died, that one died, Methuselah died, Adam died, Seth died, Cain died, everybody, Noah died, Abraham died. Enoch walked with God and then he was not, for God took him. The guy didn't die, God took him. So even God has need for friends. Even God wants friends. Eh? Human beings, we are unique. We have the gift of willpower. We have the gift of thought. We have the gift of self I don't know what word to use now, but we have the gift of thoughts. We can decide that we want to be with someone or not to be with someone. When you decide you want, but the angels are not like that. Though if some of them angels try to change their mind and went to hell. But let's not go there. Mhm. So, friendship is a destination that we all wish and pray that relationships will terminate at. Even in the workplace, we are looking for a friend. And that friend does not have to be someone that you trust ultimately with all your gist or all your emotions. You can't go to the office and start crying. Oh, my husband said this to me last night. Oh, my husband. That is not professional behavior. Apart from the fact that you are casting yourself in a, not, in a very negative light in the workplace, your colleague is not your friend. All right? Your colleague is not your friend. But though we all wish to have somebody in the office that we can say, oh, this one is my friend. We all wish for that. But even while you're doing that, you have to remember that there must be boundaries. There must be boundaries. Yes, you can talk to your friend about something, your colleague about certain things, but that does not mean that tomorrow when there's a promotion, that person is going to push you and leave themselves behind. No, let's not go there. There's still more time. Like I said, this live stream is supposed to last for just 1 hour, so I'm going to close it now. And I want to say thank you to everyone who joined. That is my 1 hour done and dusted. I love this topic called relationships because it is very, very, very important. And so I'll be focusing on it in my further lives, my forthcoming lives. And if you're interested in building lasting relationship, please check the description of this video if you happen to watch it after the live stream is done, you watch the replay. I will put a link to my PDF about building lasting relationships, and they will help you to do the same. And I hope to see you in my next live stream. Thank you for joining. I wish you a wonderful day. Bye.